Hello guys, this is Cyprien from FE4All, and this is the second tutorial in which I'll show you how to do some development work on Code Aster. So in the previous tutorial I'll show you how to download the Aster full, how to install it and the prerequisite into a dev folder that I have on my desktop. So if you didn't do those steps, you will not be able to follow with this tutorial, so I suggest you to come back to the previous tutorial and I'll put the link into the description. So now that you have all that done, and you have, like me, a folder dev, not necessarily on your desktop, I suggest to put it somewhere else, but for the demonstration I'm just putting that on the desktop. So now we'll go and find latest sources, and for that you have to go on Code Aster Bitbucket. So Bitbucket is a website where kind of source code for different software are handled, a bit like GitHub. You probably heard about that. So Bitbucket is a bit similar. And you have the Code Aster Bitbucket, in which the latest sources are uploaded by the Code Aster team. So you have to go on this website, and if you go on sources, you'll have the Code Aster latest sources here on this, inside this repository. So and if you want to know how to install it, you have a wiki. So go into the wiki and go into Quick Start, and here you have basically the steps you need to follow to install Code Aster. So what you need to do first is to configure Mercurial. So Mercurial is a tool to handle source code. So it's called it's a kind of source code management, source code control management tool. I'll probably do a video about that as well, but for the time being, you have to know a bit about this. Not so much for this video here, but later on, if you want to do some real development work with Code Aster, you'll have to know about Mercurial. You need to have it installed first, so that if you don't have Mercurial, just go into your terminal and type, well, sudo apt-get install, and I think I don't remember if it's Mercurial or something. You can use Synaptic to search for Mercurial, or you can use apt. Sometimes I do that, apt search Mercurial, and it will tell me, Mercurial. Okay, so that's just Mercurial. So what you have to do is you have to do sudo apt-get install Mercurial, and okay, it will prompt for your password. And okay, I have it installed, but I think I have an upgrade. They asked me if I want to upgrade it. Let's upgrade it. Okay, and once you did that, if you type hg, you'll see a list of commands. So it means that you have Mercurial installed. So you need to have this Mercurial installed in order to work with the source code. So the first thing I'll do is that I'll just go into this dev folder, and I open it in terminal, and inside from this folder I will run this line of code. So just copy and paste that. By the way, if you want to paste something in the command line, press the central button of the mouse, the roll of the mouse, and you'll get it. Otherwise it doesn't work with Control V. So if you don't know this trick, that's pretty useful. Okay, so, and what this command wget does is basically it downloads whatever file is at this location and it put it inside this dev. So it will download this HGRC template, and it will open it as .rgrc. Okay, and now I have my HGRC folder, and the next thing you need to do is to edit this. So I will not do it here because mine is already set up, but there's basically two things you need to change into this file. It's really easy. Just open it with a text editor like gedit this, like it's written here. Edit your name and your email inside, save it, and that's it. So that's it for the first part. Once you have that done, we'll have to clone the repositories of Code Aster. So just go command line by line, copy. What this does is that it's create a directory called home dev Code Aster, and it goes into its cd into this directory. So let's open the dev and see the result of the command. Enter. Okay, dev Code Aster. Oh, sorry, it's hey. You have to be careful because you need to change that with your own computer. So here it's installed on my desktop, right? So it's desktop dev Code Aster and cd into desktop, right? But generally, if you install it at the same place, well, it should work. So be careful about this. And you see that this Code Aster appeared, so there's nothing inside for the moment. And what we'll do is that we'll use this command hgclone to clone those source code repositories into this. So if I just paste that, and it will start to load those files from Bitbucket and put it into my so you see I have a dev2 folder that just appeared with the proper tools. So those tools are used to compile Code Aster, so you need to have this. And the second repository you need is actually the source code repository. So it's a Mercurial command, because you see there is hgclone will take this folder Code Aster src, which are the source, and copy it into an src folder that you have inside yours. So if I click now, enter, it just create an src folder, and it will copy all the source code of Code Aster inside this folder. So I have to wait a bit. This file is slightly bigger than the other one. So once all the files have been downloaded, and that your src file contains all the source code of Code Aster, you can start the next part that I'll show you how to actually compile that. So yes, this is the source code of Code Aster, and if you want to change Code Aster solver, everything is in this source code. So in this video, I'll not show you how to develop with Code Aster, which is a much harder topic than just showing you how to download and compile this. But at least you'll have the tools set up for it. So now what you need to do is go into this src, and you have something called WAF. So WAF is is what the software that will be used to compile Code Aster source code. And we just need to use WAF in the right way, and we'll be able to compile that. So now I'm in Code Aster, and let's go into the SRC. And you see that if I launch like the WAF script, I have something. So first, I need to configure WAF. So right now it's just a tool, but it doesn't know about Code Aster. So you need to basically tell it how do you, where is your Code Aster installation and all that, and you do that by giving it some configuring lines. So if I remember well, if I go into this README, it's actually written oh no, I have to go back on the Bitbucket website. I think it's where it's the most clearly explained how to do this. So wiki, go back to the first page of the wiki, and you have like build Code Aster. Hey, I think this is it. Okay, and in here, this is where it tells you how to use WAF to compile Code Aster. So the first thing you need to do is you need to source some things. So in this case, profile mfront. So I didn't install mfront in my case because you remember it was it didn't compile correctly. So I will not source this. And then you have to give it the right use configure there. And then you have to give it this Aster full config, and prefix is where you want actually to install it. That's it. Install std. Okay, install p. Okay, so let's just try that. So WAF configure use config dir equal, and here we need to tell it where is the Aster version share Aster. So let me just check my dev folder. So dev 14.2 share Aster. So that's what we want to give it. So I'll just write this in full path to be sure I have the right one. So make sure that this is for your computer. This is the name of my computer, but you have to put the name of your computer and the place where you have this installed. 14.2 share Aster. Okay, that's it. And now we need to give it use config use config equal Aster full config. So this config is used because I installed from the Aster full package on the website. There are other ways to install, but if you're like me, external to EDF company, then you'll have to use this way. That's it. And once you did that, you can choose where you want it to be installed. So I want, well, let's just prefix equal, and I will install it into well, I will use the same that they propose: install and std. So std is for standard. So there are two versions of Code Aster, the standard and the MPI version. If you want to run it on multi-core, you'll have to install the MPI. It's a bit more tricky to install, so I'll just show you how to install the standard one. Okay, and once you have everything set up, I'm hoping it will work. Okay, okay, I wrote fill instead of full. Okay, and now it starts to check everything, if everything is right, if I have everything installed correctly, and it seems it is. So now it's configured correctly. So it means that I'm kind of ready to install it. So this configure step is very important. If you don't give it the correct directories and everything, it will not be able to install it. And once you did that, it's not compiled yet. It's just some kind of checking that you have the right thing installed. So, and by the way, I think I forgot something. I had to disable mfront or something. Aster full prefix. Maybe because I didn't install mfront, so I have to, I think, disable mfront. So there is, let me think about what was the disable mfront command. Okay, so to disable mfront, I have to add a disable mfront like that here, and let's configure it again. And now when I will install it, compile the code, it will know that I don't want the mfront, so it will not give me any error on that. Okay, so now that this is configured, I can run waf install, and well, here it's written p, but I think the p is if you don't want to see the text, so I'll just show you. Install, and now that's when it takes a bit of time. It will just install everything into I think into Code Aster, into install. It will probably generate an install folder here. And now it started to compile. So now it's just go over the compilation of all the files. So we have to wait until the end. So you can take a coffee break if you want. The good thing is that once you are able to successfully compile it once, when you do some small modification, it doesn't need to compile all the code again. It just compile the few files that you changed. Okay, now it started to install, and you see that I have my full install, which just appeared here, where I just told it to install that. So now I have my std, and this is my Code Aster installation, and it is successful. Nice. But before crying, no, before not crying, no, before saying victory, we have to test if it actually works. And now that we have WAF installed, it's kind of easy to test if my installation works by using WAF. So there is a command for in WAF to do the testing, which is WAF test n, and n is for name, and then you have to give it the name of a standard Code Aster test. So from my memory, let's I think we have what do we have? Let's take a look. Where are those tests installed? Installed standard Aster src astest. Okay, so in this astest folder you have all the tests, so you can just choose which kind of test you want to run. So search for one which doesn't take much time, because some of those tests are quite complicated, because they are here to test all the function of Code Aster. So we can use, for example, the one from the first Code Aster training, like forma 00a, and here you enter forma 01a, and well, I was waiting for that, don't worry. As run not found. So before doing that, running the test, you have to source the profile where your Azure is located. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So we have to do like I did in the previous video, source, and if I remember well, it is in this. No, not this one. etc Code Aster and profile.sh, that's the one we want. So we have to go back to folder like that, and etc and Code Aster profile.sh. Okay, now it should be able to find your ASRun. WAF test forma 01, and now it runs, and it is successful. So you have successfully run the test. So it means that you were able successfully to build Code Aster and to run some of the Code Aster validation tests. So now you're ready to do some development in Code Aster. Of course, for that you need to know how to use Mercurial also. So maybe I'll do a small video about Mercurial, but you'll be able to, I think, if you can find some things about that. Anyway, that's all for this tutorial. So I hope you learned a lot and it was useful for you. I know it's not very easy, it's quite advanced kind of tutorial, and it's really, if you plan to do some advanced development into Code Aster or something, this might be useful for you. If you just want to use Code Aster as a user, well, I recommend just to use Salome Mecha, and don't bother with all of this. But anyway, that's the purpose of this tutorial. If you watch until the end, thank you for watching. Please leave a comment if you have something to say, or even if you want to say thank you. It's always appreciated. Took me a lot of time to make those videos, and if you can give me a thumb up, this will help me a lot. So thank you very much, and see you probably for one of next tutorial that I'll put on the website and on the blog. So goodbye and see you next time. So if you're on YouTube, you'll probably find the link to the article and the next videos inside the description. Otherwise, you can go on my blog feforall.com and click in the category open source FEA, and you'll find all the articles I wrote about open source FEA and the previous videos inside this category. So thank you for watching. I hope that you learned a lot and that you will learn a lot using all the videos that I am sharing on my blog. So if you like those videos, please help me to share them with your friends and other engineers. And also, please let me know what you think in the comments. It's always great to have some kind of feedback, and if you have some ideas of things you would like to learn or do with FEA, please also let me know. Thank you for watching again.